Nervous system. The nervous system is a complex network of cells that transmit signals between different parts of the body. It plays a crucial role in coordinating and controlling various physiological functions and behaviors. The nervous system can be broadly divided into two main components: central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, central nervous system. The CNS consists of the brain and spinal cord. It serves as the main control center for the entire body. The brain is responsible for processing information, interpreting sensory input, and initiating responses. The spinal cord acts as a pathway for information flow between the brain and the peripheral nervous system. Brain. The brain is a complex organ that controls thought, memory, emotion, touch, motor skills, vision, breathing, temperature, hunger, and every process that regulates our body. Major part of brain. Forebrain. Midbrain. Hindbrain. Forebrain. Cerebrum. The cerebrum is the largest and most highly developed part of the brain. It is divided into two hemispheres, left and right, and is responsible for a wide range of complex functions, including conscious thought. The cerebrum is associated with conscious thought processes, reasoning, and problem-solving. Sensory perception. It receives and processes sensory information from the environment, allowing individuals to perceive and interpret stimuli such as sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. Motor control. The cerebrum is involved in initiating and coordinating voluntary muscle movements. Language processing. It plays a crucial role in language comprehension and production. The surface of the cerebrum is marked by numerous folds and grooves called gyri and sulci, respectively. These structures increase the surface area of the cerebrum, allowing for a greater number of neurons and, consequently, more complex cognitive functions. Thalamus. The thalamus is a small, oval-shaped structure located deep within the brain. It acts as a relay station for sensory information. Most sensory signals, with the exception of olfaction, smell pass through the thalamus before reaching the cerebral cortex. The thalamus helps filter and direct sensory input to the appropriate areas of the cerebrum for further processing. Hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is a region located below the thalamus and is involved in maintaining homeostasis and regulating various physiological processes. Temperature regulation. The hypothalamus helps regulate body temperature. Hormone regulation. It controls the release of hormones from the pituitary gland, influencing various endocrine functions. Hunger and thirst. The hypothalamus is involved in the regulation of appetite and thirst. Emotional responses. It plays a role in emotional responses and behaviors. Midbrain. Tectum. The tectum is the dorsal, upper part of the midbrain, and consists of four rounded eminences known as colliculi, singular, colliculus. There are two superior colliculi and two inferior colliculi. Tegmentum. The tegmentum is the ventral, lower, part of the midbrain and includes various nuclei and pathways with diverse functions. Red nucleus, involved in motor coordination and control. Substantia nigra produces dopamine and plays a crucial role in motor control. Dysfunction of the substantia nigra is associated with Parkinson's disease. Periaqueductal gray, PAG, involved in pain modulation and various autonomic functions. Superior colliculi, involved in visual processing and the coordination of eye movements. They contribute to the reflexive orientation of the head and eyes in response to visual stimuli. Inferior colliculi play a role in auditory processing and the relay of auditory information. Cerebral aqueduct. The cerebral aqueduct is a narrow channel that runs through the midbrain, connecting the third and fourth ventricles. It serves as a conduit for cerebrospinal fluid, CSF. Motor pathways. The midbrain contains motor pathways that transmit signals from the brain to the spinal cord and other parts of the body, contributing to voluntary movements. Reticular formation. The reticular formation, which extends through the brainstem, including the midbrain, is involved in regulating sleep-wake cycles, arousal, and attention. Medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata is the lowest part of the brainstem and connects the brain to the spinal cord. It plays a crucial role in regulating involuntary functions that are essential for life, including respiration. The medulla controls the rate and depth of breathing, adjusting these parameters in response to changing oxygen and carbon dioxide levels in the blood. Heart rate. It regulates heart rate and blood pressure. Swallowing and reflexes. The medulla is involved in reflex activities such as swallowing, coughing, and sneezing. Pons. The pons is located above the medulla and serves as a bridge connecting different parts of the brain. It plays a role in various functions, including respiratory control. The pons assists in regulating breathing by influencing the activity of the respiratory centers in the medulla. Sleep regulation. It is involved in the regulation of REM, rapid eye movement, sleep, and non-REM sleep. Facial sensation and movement. The pons contains nuclei associated with facial sensation and facial motor control. Cerebellum. The cerebellum is located at the back of the brain, behind the pons. It is involved in the coordination and fine-tuning of voluntary muscle movements, balance, and posture. Key functions of the cerebellum include motor coordination. The cerebellum receives sensory input about the position of body parts and integrates this information to coordinate smooth, precise movement. Balance. It contributes to maintaining balance and posture. Learning and memory. The cerebellum is involved in motor learning and certain aspects of memory. Spinal cord. The spinal cord is a long, tubular structure that extends from the base of the brain, running down the vertebral column, spine. It is a vital part of the central nervous system, CNS, and serves as a communication pathway between the brain and the rest of the body. The spinal cord is protected by the bony vertebrae of the spine. Structure of the spinal cord. The spinal cord is approximately 17 to 18 inches long in adults and is about the thickness of a human finger. It is composed of nerve tissue containing both gray and white matter. Gray matter. Gray matter in the spinal cord consists mainly of nerve cell bodies, dendrites, and unmyelinated axons. It is shaped like a butterfly or the letter H in cross-section and is located centrally. The gray matter is organized into regions called horns, including dorsal, posterior, horns, ventral, anterior, horns, and lateral horns in certain segments. White matter. White matter consists mainly of myelinated axons, which form tracks or bundles that transmit signals up and down the spinal cord. The white matter surrounds the gray matter and is organized into columns or funiculi, including dorsal, ventral, and lateral columns. Functions of the spinal cord. Transmission of signals. The primary function of the spinal cord is to transmit signals between the brain and the rest of the body. Sensory information from the body is conveyed to the brain, while motor commands from the brain are sent to muscles and glands. Reflexes. The spinal cord is capable of generating reflex responses, quick and automatic movements in response to a stimulus. Reflex arcs involve sensory neurons, inner neurons within the spinal cord, and motor neurons, allowing for rapid responses without the need for conscious input from the brain. Segmentation. The spinal cord is divided into segments, each corresponding to a specific region of the body. These segments are associated with pairs of spinal nerves that enter and exit the spinal cord through openings between the vertebrae. Integration. The spinal cord also integrates certain types of information, such as coordinating simple motor responses and regulating local reflexes. Spinal nerves. The spinal cord is connected to the body through 31 pairs of spinal nerves, each emerging from the spinal cord at specific vertebral levels. These nerves are classified into cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral, and coccygeal regions. Peripheral Nervous Systems. The PNS includes all of the nerves and ganglia, clusters of nerve cell bodies, outside the CNS. It is further divided into the somatic nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. Somatic nervous systems. This part of the PNS is involved in voluntary muscle movements and sensory information. It includes sensory neurons that transmit information from the senses to the CNS and motor neurons that carry signals from the CNS to muscles, allowing for voluntary movements. Autonomic nervous system. The ANS controls involuntary functions of the body, such as heartbeat, digestion, and respiratory rate. Further subdivided of ANS. Sympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system. Expenditure of energy from the reserves that are stored in the body. Parasympathetic nervous system. Activities that are involved with the increase in the body's supply of stored energy.